Hi, kids. How are you? This episode of the DiPaolo podcast brought to you by oandapodcast. Let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough? I bet you'd love more, right, you dirty little piggy? Well, oandapodcast wants to give you more with 10 free gifts. A little something, 10 free gifts, that's right. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, a specially selected toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both love. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. That's right, folks, free shipping. So what do you have to do to get your 10 free gifts? It's not hard. Just go to oandapodcast and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter the offer code NICK at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts. Go check out oandapodcast today, select one item, and get 10 free gifts, including free shipping when you enter offer code NICK. That's N-I-C-K at oandapodcast. That's right, folks. Do it today. Well, the Pope is headed to town. Be careful, Mr. Pope. That's all I'm saying. Again, that was probably in Brooklyn within a 12-mile radius, but, you know. Yeah, that's going to be fun, going into the comedy clubs this week. Mama son. I guess the Pope's getting here on Thursday. I think he's taking JetBlue. He's sitting in the mint section. Last time they had trouble getting his hat. His hat wouldn't fit into that little bin thing that they have at the front. Before you're boarding, your bag has to fit into that metal thing. Yeah. Oh, Pope-a-rooney. I don't know. I have no opinions on the Pope. I'm Roman Catholic and never paid attention to any of it. I got to be honest with you. And I know this guy, he likes to get into politics a little too much. Every time I pick up the paper, he's talking about climate change and, all kinds of stuff. It's funny because, the left hates religion and hates, Christianity and, the far left, I should say. But this Pope espouses a lot of what they believe in with the climate change and all that. Everybody should have free everything, shoes, food. The Pope's compassion is based in, it's genuine compassion as opposed to the shitheads who just want to pretend they're compassionate to get that vote. It's that way. Yeah, mama. So what's going on, kids? I was in Boston. Laugh Boston comedy club up there in beautiful South Boston, which was kind of timely because Black Mass came out, the Whitey Bulger story, and he ran all of South Boston. Johnny Depp is playing him. Haven't seen it yet. Can't wait to. A few people I know and respect who know movies and film said it was pretty damn good. So, yeah. But once again, I was told they butchered the Boston accent. And again, I blame that. Actors have trouble with it. The best, even Nicholson in The Departed, he was fading in and out of that accent. And like I said, the best I've ever heard was John Hawkes. He was in the Amy Schumer sketch with me. The movie The Perfect Storm, which is about Gloucester, Massachusetts. It's a few miles north of where I grew up. And but John Hawkes did the best Boston accent, Massachusetts accent I've ever heard. So much so, when I was watching that movie, I'm like, this guy's from Mass. And then I found out he's from Minnesota. He's just a really great actor. But Robin Williams, he butchered it in Good Will Hunting. He actually said Boston. When you try to imitate a Bostonian and you want to actually say the word Boston, it's not. We don't say Boston. We say Boston, B-A-W, like Red Sox, S-A-W. That's the key to it. And you have to talk fast and run your words together. And there's some words we do pronounce the R, and there's other words where we don't. And so it is a little tricky. But some of these movies you see, they go way over the top. You watch like these made-for-TV movies. Although, you know who did a pretty good one? Martin Sheen. I think it was a TV movie called, I think it was Missiles of October. He played JFK. He actually did a pretty decent job. He was a little over the top in The Departed, but, It's so funny because when people do a Boston character, they go right into they do like a bad JFK impression, whether they're playing a character working at McDonald's in Massachusetts. You'll have the hamburger, and would you like a lid on the top of that? So, South Boston, Laugh Boston, great club, had a great time. Audiences were great, and thank you for coming out, those of you who did, and those of you who didn't go, fuck yourself. Anyways, just kidding. It was good. It's a beautiful club. South Boston looks like San Francisco now, as far as... it's right on the waterfront where this club is, and all these beautiful hotels, and it really is. It's like the sister city of San Francisco. Probably even more liberal, for Christ's sake. But it was packed. Had a nice lobster. Had a lobster with some fucking tartar sauce on that side. And at the Yankee Lobster Company. There's all these beautiful restaurants right on the water, legal seafoods. And I'm like, if I go in there, they're going to whack me for about $70 a pound. So I went to this little thing about the size of a deli. It was called Yankee Lobster Company, right at the end of where all the beautiful lobsters are, like an ugly little duckling place. They had seats outside and stuff, a few seats, but you go in, walk up to the counter and order like you're at a bodega almost, and still got whacked for $19 a pound, but it was delicious. I'm sitting. Boy, how stupid did I look? Don't you hate when you eat alone in a restaurant? You feel everybody's watching. Look at the lonely fucking loser. Probably a comedian on the road. Exactly. I'm sitting there with my lobster bib on like a mameluke. Just sitting there facing the rest of the... My table's facing the rest of the restaurant. You see people looking up going, look at that jerk off. So I'm on Comedy Central in 1926. And I'm just sitting there eating. I got like a 2.5-pound lobster. And it was fucking delicious. Cup of chowder. It was delicious. And then, I just can't believe. South Boston used to be a real armpit. It's like the one section nobody ever went to years ago. It's even more built up than when I went there last year. Just gorgeous hotels. Seaport Hotel I stayed at. Tremendous. And a good comedy club, too. So, to my fellow comedians, get up there and do it. It's a nice room. And they have another one. The guy that owns it, John Tobin, has another club, right? Gillette Stadium. They have a whole big mall and everything, like all new stadiums. But he has another comedy club that I'm doing in December in Foxborough, right at Gillette Stadium, which I'm ashamed and embarrassed to say I've never been to. Can you imagine? What can I say, folks? The Pats have been on quite a run for the last 15 years. Not easy to get tickets. Although if I hit up Lenny Clark or Mike Clark, his brother, they're in tight with the Crafts. I think I could probably probably sit right in the booth. But we'll get to the Patriots and terrific Tom. He's never looked better. He's got a real chip on his ass, I'll tell you. He looked great. But we'll get to that at the end. I throw in a little sports. I don't like to do too much of that topical sports shit because, again, you guys could be listening to this show tonight or fucking 3 weeks from tonight. That's the thing I don't like about podcasts. Well, maybe I'll get a real radio job someday. Could that fucking happen? Your mother's ass. What do I want to talk about? Got to see my buddy. I went up to see my parents in Danvers. And that was a painful 5 hours. No. And it's just scary, man. My dad's going to be 80 in October, which, it's just, I can't. My mother's like 78. Acts like she's 178. No. So, got to see them, and I got to see my buddy Bob Murphy, who, if you watch some of my specials, I put his name right in the credits at the end because he's one of the reasons I became a comedian. He was so goddamn funny in high school. Graduated first or second in our class. He writes public policy up in Northern California for a company called SRI. I'm just a brilliant guy, and is fucking funny, and hadn't seen him in years. Brought his wife, got to meet his daughter. He's got a kid playing football up in Northern California. His son was only like 15. He's a middle linebacker, which surprised me because Murph's up in Northern California is one of the places where people aren't letting their it's brainy elitist intellectual types and that's not what Murph is, by the way. He's just a funny friggin' Irishman is what he is. But they're like, in that part of the area, I was talking to Murph, that's where they're not letting their kids play. It's football. There's hardly any youth football up there. So I was so happy when I heard Murph's kid is obsessed. He said he loves football. And, what with all the concussions and stuff. And I was talking to Murph's wife, said she read an article in the paper. There's hardly any young kids playing football in that area because apparently the mothers make the decision whether the son's going to play football or not. And to you fathers out there, step it up, man up. What, do you want to live in a fucking soccer nation the rest of your life? Excuse me. That was the 6 pounds of melted butter I had this weekend. I got an ass on me like Hillary Clinton. I ate like an animal. Can't help it. Room service. They can bring a lobster roll to my room. I'm fucking drunk. I'm not going to... It's between that and this $8 Snickers bar. Come on. So, it was good to see Murph. Just a funny SOB and to meet his daughter. And I can't believe he's got a 15-year-old son. And we'll all be dead soon. I think that's the point, the underlying theme in all my podcasts, and my positivity. Don't you think so? What else I want to talk about here? The debate last week. Didn't get to comment it until now. And it was interesting. Look, I like Trump, but come on. I think this debate started to show that he's, again, it's a catch-22. The fact that he doesn't seem as polished as all the other comedians, not quite as knowledgeable, only enhances his attractiveness to people who want an outsider. It's like a catch-22. They're like, well, he doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about, and he's kind of brash. Yeah, exactly. But, it kind of showed, I thought. But yet he's staying steady in the polls. What does that tell you? It's a real fuck you to the rest of the establishment politicians, his popularity. And people they're like, yeah, we don't care if he didn't do that well. Fuck you. We're still voting for him because we hate you that much. That's all this is about. It's fun, isn't it? It's crazy to watch. But he looked like an idiot when he, tells, he got in trouble for making fun of Carly Fiorina's face. And then during the debate, he's like, I think she's a beautiful woman. That's where you're going to lose me, Donald. Just stick to your guns. And Carly Fiorina is like, I think all the women heard what he said. She was kind of playing like the victim card, which is not the sign of a strong woman there. She should be like, yeah, I'm not a pretty face. You know what that proves? It proves that I got to the top by my intellect. I didn't sleep my way to the top with this puss, did I? And who's Trump to be making fun of people's looks? Like I said on stage, if JFK had Donald Trump's hair, he'd still be alive today. I really believe that. There's no bullet could penetrate that fucking bird's nest he's got going. But, he just, he showed a little, it's kind of superficial, and I know people on the left me going, they can't be serious about this fucking guy. But like I said, it's just a middle finger to politicians, career politicians, which I kind of like, and I hope he hangs in there. But yeah, by no means really knows what he's talking about at this point. But then again, when you're the president, you surround yourself with good people, and that's what great CEOs do. And the company is just a giant corporation. So I hope he hangs in there. Real quickly, I'll go over the rest of the people that were in there. Chris Christie, who I'm not a fan of Chris Christie. Comes across as a big whiny baby to me, but he's really good in debates, and he's a smart friggin' guy, and kind of, I don't think he's going away. But quit friggin', every time they show him, like, on the campaign trail, like, in casual, I wish his wife would tell him, don't wear khakis and he tucks in his shirt, and it fucking just highlights. It's like looking at a planet, the planets. It looks like his belt has to be 75 to 80 feet long, and it just highlights how fucking, don't tuck in your shirt. Wear a big fucking fluffy Hawaiian shirt like that Mexican comedian. He just looks, whatever. What's that got to do with being pregnant? Whatever. And that's the other thing. All this nonsense about Carly Fiorina. They would never make fun of a man's look when it comes to being a president or bullshit. What the fuck are you talking about? It's between Trump's hair and how fat. I've heard more stuff about Bobby Jindal looking like a, Radio Shack manager and Trump's hair and how fat Christie is. Everybody gets so. Let's stop with that horse shit. It's only women. Like it's only Muslim students who bring a bomb to school to get suspended. We'll get to that in a few minutes. John Kasich, he was all right. He didn't get much time. He's a little too establishing for me. I don't know. He's done a hell of a job with Ohio, and I guess you have to consider that. But he's a little too much of a regular politician. Rubio is just, to me, had the best debate, and he's going to be consistent. Guy knows his shit. He's very steeped in all the issues, and he's very eloquent and says it with some command, and he's going to be there in the end. I love the fact that he's that young. He's an impressive guy, like I said, but if in the perfect world, I'd have somebody 2,000 feet to the right of Ted Cruz, but that guy doesn't exist for me. We have to balance out all the Marxist horseshit that's gone on the last 6.5, 7 years. I want somebody really right-wing. That's why, and I do. I love Ted Cruz. But he's got that weird voice that he didn't get much speaking time, and that's what CNN does. First of all, the debate, I thought it was all right, but they obviously, Jake Tapper pitted Trump against. For the first hour, they were pitting wanting Republicans. He said this about you. You said this about him. That type of horse shit. And I find it entertaining. I mean, it is on TV, and people are like, well, we should be talking about the real issues. Well, Jesus Christ, it's a 3-hour debate. We'll get to it. I like to see people called on their bullshit. It's like, Donald, you said Carly Fiorina looks like Mr. Ed. What do you have to say to that? And, who else? Jeb Bush. Just sorry. And I know he's a great governor, but sorry, he's too establishment. And it was a weird moment when, I don't know. I guess Trump brought his wife into it, just saying. And I guess Trump a few weeks ago said, or maybe it was a month ago, whenever, but talking about saying, well, if my wife was Mexican, I'd probably have a soft spot for the Mexican people. And I don't even see why he'd have to apologize for that. How is that a provocative, outrageous statement? Why? Because a rich white guy said the word Mexican? George and Jeb Bush during the debate, you should really apologize toward Donald. And he's like, I'm not going to apologize. And he shouldn't. He didn't say anything wrong. Big fucking deal. And then they were talking about something else and they agreed on something, but Donald Trump put his hand out like for a high five or a low five, and like Jeb Bush smashed it with real anger. I was belly laughing. Very awkward. Ben Carson, he's holding tight in the polls. Just a likable, smart guy, and I don't know if he has what it takes, but very thoughtful and, kind of the anti-Trump. Brilliant guy, but I don't know. Do we really want to try another unexperienced black fella? Oh my God, that's outrageous, Nick. How can you say shit like that? Exactly. Shut up.
Thank you.
Huckabee. They went to. This is my take on it. CNN, they try to hide their left-wing fucking slant, but they're really threatened by like Ted Cruz. That's why he got about 4 minutes, and Huckabee got about 3.5 minutes. Really religious. Scott Walker, sorry, dude. Sorry. And you're an oppressive guy. You took on the unions in Wisconsin, but you look like you're stoned, number one. He's got his eyes, he's got that sort of Jim Brewer eyelids half shut look. And he's just got no charisma. He's just a nice guy from the Midwest who wears pleated khakis on the weekend, and he's just got that poor male pattern baldness happening too. Looks like somebody set off a cherry bomb in the back of his head. He's got that spray paint that shit, will you? He just doesn't have that charisma, I don't think, and he's definitely a smart guy with big balls or whatever, but just blending in. Blah. So Rand Paul, Trump made fun of his Trump comes out at the opening of the debate. I don't know what Rand Paul's doing. He's got less than 1%. Just a sucker punch to open the debate. And Rand Paul's a smart guy, but I don't know, man. Surprised to me that he's not making more headway. But he didn't get that much. I'll tell you, I watched the undercard debate at the children's table, and Lindsey Graham, that psycho, that 60-year-old bachelor, he was friggin' hilarious. He's obsessed with radical Islam, and he's all about the military because he's a military guy, but it didn't matter what they asked him. It was so goddamn funny, you know? Like, Lindsay, what did you think of the breakfast they had at the... Well, breakfast was delicious, but I hope it wasn't made by an Islamic extremist. Just no matter what you fucking asked him, just obsessed. The economy, we've grown at less than 2% in the last 3 quarters. Well, yeah, goddamn Islamists. Didn't matter. He kept coming back to it, and he showed like a humorous side. I can't remember any of the jokes, but he was kind of funny. I actually thought he won that debate, and Bobby Jindal was pretty good too. But poor Bobby Jindal, he ain't gonna make it. He's just too small and thoughtful, but. So anyways, that was my take on that. But then you had, after the debate, a few days later, I guess Trump, I think it was after the debate. I can't keep my timeline straight. But he was doing something in New Hampshire, and they did a question and answer thing. And I got a sound clip. Some guy stood up and, talked about the president and Muslims and whether he was one. It, to me, sounds so staged. I had heard about it, and then I saw it on, Sunday morning shows. They showed the clip. I'm telling you, the guy was a plant. It was just, I don't know who planted him. It's so convoluted. But the guy sounded like a really bad actor. He just emphasized, we all know he's a Muslim. Just like really bad. I'm telling you, it's going to come out. It's going to come out in the next few weeks that this guy had to be it was so fucking phony. I'm telling you. I almost bet my word on it. I got to play the clip. I couldn't, the usual way I get him off YouTube. That wasn't available. The converter wasn't working or some horse shit. So the sound, it won't be as good as normal. But here's that clip. The guy asking Trump. And of course, Trump's taking all kinds of shit because he didn't really defend the president. And he was supposed to say the politically correct thing. Well, of course, he's a Christian, and of course, but Trump just left it sort of hanging. So now he's catching all kinds of shit because that's where we are now. If you don't even answer a question, people get pissed at you. You know the answer. But listen to this guy. He sounds staged to me. He sounds like a shitty actor.
Okay, we problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate, man. But anyway, we have training camps brewing where they want to kill us. Mm-hmm. That's my question. When can we get rid of it?
We all know our current president is one. Did that sound phony to you? Fucking staged? I'm telling you. It reminds me of remember it happened when McCain was running. Somebody asked him about it, and he defended the president. And they do so much research and polling. They're like, that probably that hurt McCain the way he handled it. Let's do that again. It just, to me, if that guy is real, he came across as a shitty actor. And of course, Trump, like I said, just didn't say, "Well, you're crazy." Of course, he was. He just left it out there, which is actually a smart thing to do. Oh, my aching ass. So, yeah, interesting. So Carly Fiorina was really good in the debate. People are going, well, she should have smiled more. She's coming across very cold, which was actually, it's like, it didn't bother me. Likability is the fucking most overrated trait that's coming from me, which is laughable. It really is. Whether it's show business, you got to be likable. Oh, fuck that. Be yourself. She was like a cold-hearted fish, and I liked it. She was like Hillary, only with some fucking brains. I didn't mind her scowling and shit. And, but then her handlers will tell her, you got to smile, be a little more warm. She's like, I'm not trying to land a fucking sitcom on ABC at 8 o'clock. I fucking want to be the most powerful person in the world. Shut your fucking hole. So, yeah, she was almost like, kind of scowling at a few things, which didn't make me flinch in the least. That broad is smart. Really smart. And, of course, Trump is like, when she ran Hewlett-Packard, it was a disaster. And before that, Lucent, that company's in the trash. Which is, there's some truth to it, but there's, two sides to the story. And then she went after him and his casinos and shit. I love this shit. I guess I'm more of a political junkie than I, want to admit. It's like fucking, I couldn't wait to get home and watch it. It's like watching sports. I get a real kick out of it. Right, Mr. Pope?
St. Dominic always said, "O fili mi boni belly, Dominus vobiscum bene," selling all his dominoes.
Oh, God. I was like 10 years old when I had that album. I must have listened to it 1,000 times. Cheech and Chong. What the hell else, kids, that I want to talk about? Ton of shit. Let's talk about the Emmys. Oh, just to summarize on the debates. Yeah, I think Rubio had the best debate, and Fiorina was second. And I think Chris Christie, again, who I don't really care for that much, had a pretty strong performance. I got to be honest here, I like them all. It's so funny. The Democratic Party's always about diversity and all that shit. And who they got? They got Hillary, fucking Bernie Sanders, 2 old white people, and another old white guy about to jump in, crazy Joe Biden. Wow, what a diverse field. What a diverse field you got over there. We have a Hispanic senator on the right. We have a black brain surgeon, a white businesswoman, a white billionaire. Governors, senators, Rand Paul, who's like I don't know what you call him, an eye doctor, an eye surgeon. But no diversity on the other side. That's how they like it. No debates. Is that what you said? Is that what you said? Yeah, let's go to the Emmys last night. And it's so funny. I watch shit like this and I realize how detached I am and such an outsider in the very thing that I do for a living. I couldn't give a fuck. Half the TV shows they mentioned, I didn't even know what they were talking about or who they were talking. Really, Game of Thrones? Of course, they cleaned up. And again, I'm sure it's a tremendous show if you're a Patton Oswalt lover and Oswald. I'm sure it's great and shit. I just can't. Like I said, I watched the first 5 minutes of Star Wars and almost threw up blood. I was so fucking bored. I can't suspend my disbelief, I guess. Andy Samberg hosted it and did a good job. I mean, again, I'm taking it for what it is. I know when I sit down to watch this shit that the jokes on the opening monologue are all going to be very liberal and PC, but they try to pull themselves off as, kind of rebels when these guys host these things, and the jokes are supposed to be a little edgy. And there's nothing edgy about it, especially in front of a very Hollywood liberal crowd. But the pacing was good. The material, he was energetic, and he was good. He was confident, and he did it. I thought he did a nice job. Again, I'm judging this on a curve because I can't stand the 3 seconds into the monologue, they had to establish that, Donald Trump's a racist, and let's listen to a little bit of the opening monologue. And again, it's so funny. Even when he delved into like jokes that are socially relevant, political in nature or whatever, even in front of a crowd that liberal, even with liberal punchlines or whatever, there's like a mediocre response. You know what I mean? Whether it's race or religion. I'll give you a little example right here.
The big story this year, of course, is diversity. This is the most diverse group of nominees in Emmy history. So congratulations, Hollywood. You did it.
How quick they are to applaud diversity. Fucking sheep.
Yeah. Racism is over. Don't fact check that. Of course, given our history being more diverse than ever isn't always saying that much. I mean, I bet on the day of Jackie Robinson's first game, the baseball commissioner was like, this year's Brooklyn Dodgers are more diverse than ever in history. You know, it's good.
Nothing.
That's probably what he said.
Even though it was PC.
The wage gap between men and women hired for major roles in Hollywood is still an issue. Wait, I'm sorry, I misread that. The age gap between men and women hired for major roles in Hollywood is still an issue. Wait, I'm sorry, I misread it again. It's both. Still both. So crappy on two fronts.
What?
Donald Trump, of course, is running for president to the delight of uncles everywhere. But I've got to say, sure, Donald Trump seems racist. What else?
That was actually sort of, and I know my comedy, you know, that somebody on the writing staff probably saw Geraldo. Kind of did that to me during one of the roasts. There you go. He goes, and Nick DiPaolo's had, and you know, some people say Nick's just a big dumb guinea. Anyways, it was sort of the same take. But, yeah, so there's some more.
Side note, is it just me, or does Bernie Sanders always look like his flight is delayed?
The classic trick. See, that's the classic trick. They take a shot at Trump, and now we have to take a shot at somebody on the left. And that way it'll look like it's balanced and fair. But the difference being is they call Trump a racist, and then they make fun of Bernie Sanders' hair. He looks like he's, you know, a mess, late for his flight. But if you look at the box score, hey, they took a shot at both sides. That's a classic move in the politically correct world of Hollywood. No, we took a shot at everybody. Yeah, but you call one of them a racist, which is the worst thing you can do today. But it was funny enough, I'm saying. It was good for what it was. I thought Andy Samberg was pretty damn good, actually. And I didn't... and don't think I sat there through all 3 hours of the show. I was watching Packers and Seahawks. Of course, I DVR'd this, and you know how it is. It's just so... And then, you know, Viola Davis, you know how sometimes when somebody wins something, they have to get a little preachy. And she's a black actress, very talented woman, who won for, I think she was the first African-American woman to lead, you know, get Best Actress in a Drama or whatever. And, of course, she had to get preachy and horseshit and the type of stuff that really gets under my skin. But let's listen to a little of her speech.
In my mind, I see a line. And over that line, I see green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white women with their arms stretched out to me over that line. But I can't seem to get there no how. I can't seem to get over that line. That was Harriet Tubman in the 1800s.
It sounded like Rex Ryan in the 2000s talking about the Patriots defense. Come on, that was a doozy, wasn't it? What else you got to say?
And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity.
And a 38-inch vertical leap. Very athletic. Serena Williams. That was a Serena Williams joke. Don't get all upset.
You cannot win an Emmy for roles that are simply not there.
Apparently they're there. You won one. Shut up!
Thank you.
People that are Ben Sherwood, Paul Lee, Peter Nowak, Shonda Rhimes. People who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black. And to the Kerry Washingtons, the Halle Berrys, the Nicole Beharies, the Megan Goods, to Gabrielle Union, thank you for taking us over that line. Thank you for the Television Academy. Thank you.
Okay, nice. But the whole speech implies that they're not getting enough opportunities. Do these people realize that the country is only 13% black? And about what? 1/2 of 1%? 1/1000th of 1% a black women are in acting? I don't understand. It's like, I don't, they're not going to be happy until what? TV is, 80-20 black to white? That's never going to happen. You're getting the opportunities. It's not going to get any better. This is a white majority country. People aren't not right. You're actually overrepresented if you watch commercials and I mean, are you kidding me? I don't understand. They really think someday you're going to put on every channel and every show is going to be 70% black. I don't know what she brought up 12 black women who are pioneers. It's just, it's not racism. It's a numbers game. I mean, Hollywood is the most, politically correct as far as race goes, the friendliest place on the planet. So, whatever. Jesus Christ, does it ever stop? Does it ever stop? But talented woman, and I'm glad she won, Couldn't name the goddamn show if they shot it in my backyard. Be honest with you. I fucking hate TV. I can't, I flip through like HBO and I just look at the titles of the movies and shit. Ooh, The Green Hornet, Game of Thrones. It's like every kid that I beat up is fucking making the lineup out. Which is nobody. Just a funny joke. Relax, you motherless, titless fucks. Anyways, so yeah, quit your goddamn whining. Could you? I'm glad you won. I'm glad you won. It's the most fair, diverse place in the world. Hollywood. Those are all the clips I can play off my phone. Somebody get me a real fucking studio before I shit blood. My favorite part of these award shows... Oh, and let me just read off. I should give you the results, I guess, if you're interested. If you're real hardcore fans of mine, you probably don't give a rat's ass. But real quick, I'll rip through them. In case you didn't catch it last night and you were doing the American thing and watching this Packers and the Seahawks have it out. By the way, last week I was 8 for 8 as far as picks. This week I had 4. I hate this league. Watered down horseshit. I'll get to that in a few minutes. But Game of Thrones was the big winner. Outstanding drama series. That's like the biggest award. Outstanding comedy series was Veep. There's a surprise. HBO. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She needs another trophy, huh? If you're a committed liberal, though, they will fucking... John Hamm, Mad Men. Finally, the guy's been nominated I don't know how many times. That's a series I did watch on HBO and fucking was it HBO? I'm not even sure. Whatever it was. AMC. What am I saying? Yeah, AMC. Mad Men. He was great, man. He finally won it. Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder. Jesus, I'm surprised they weren't picking. Why you got to give a black woman and why you got to call the show Murder? She was the winner, Viola Davis. She's been around a long time. Good for her. Outstanding lead actor in a comedy series was Jeffrey Tambor for Transparent. He plays a transgender person. Do you really think that wouldn't win? I'm thinking about having a snatch sewed on to my back. Maybe I'll get nominated for something. Outstanding lead actress in a comedy series, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She wins again. Outstanding supporting actor in a drama series, Peter Dinklage. That was the little dwarf guy, handsome guy. Game of Thrones. He's carrying the trophy off. I didn't realize how small he was until they handed him the trophy. It was like he was carrying off, an actual adult person. It's like 3/4 of his height. Outstanding supporting actress in a comedy series, Allison Janney for Mom. Have no idea what it is. I wouldn't watch a show called Mom. I'm so tired of it. Outstanding supporting actor in a comedy series. The winner was Tony Hale from Veep. Veep, again, HBO. Outstanding miniseries, Oliver Kittredge on HBO. I wouldn't know if Olive Kitteridge. How dare I fuck that up? I wouldn't know anybody from that show, but they bit me in the taint. Outstanding television movie, Bessie, HBO. That was about a cornerback out of Southwest Texas State. Outstanding lead actor in a miniseries or movie, Richard Jenkins. Olive Kittredge. Outstanding lead actress in a miniseries, Frances McDormand. Olive Kittredge. I'm going to have to Google that. Make a mental note not to watch it again. Bill Murray gets outstanding supporting actor in a miniseries or movie. And that series was Olive Kittredge. Outstanding supporting actress in a miniseries or movie, Regina King, American Crime. Outstanding variety talk series, and this was no surprise, since The Daily Show and Jon Stewart left, they sort of paid homage to him last night. They cleaned up. The Daily Show got an outstanding variety talk series, outstanding writing for a variety series, The Daily Show, outstanding directing for a variety series, The Daily Show, outstanding variety sketch series, Inside Amy Schumer, Comedy Central. And she was funny. She made a crack about, she said, I want to thank some girl that she went to school with or something for this smoky eye, which is friggin' hilarious. And good for Amy. She's a good funny broad. Outstanding reality competition. By the way, I'll take a little credit for that win for outstanding variety sketch, since they said that the 12 Angry Men sketch was, land breaking, even for that show. Land breaking, mind blowing is what I meant to say. Landmark is what I meant to say. So I'll take some credit. I was in on that. Outstanding reality competition program. Who gives a sweet fuck? The boys. The rest of them, I don't think you really give two shits about. Jane Lynch, it's just a liberal jerk fest. It's so fucking funny. Saturday Night Live, the 40th anniversary special. Outstanding guest actor in a drama series, House of Cards, Reg E. Cathy. Outstanding guest actress in a drama series, Margot Martindale. I wonder any relation to Wink. Outstanding guest actor in a comedy series. That was the one that I almost got nominated for. And I was hoping they'd show clips because Paul Giamatti got nominated for that. I thought they'd show clips like they always do, but of course not. There was so many nominees, it was like 5 or 6 men and 5 or 6 women that they just showed just a still photo of Giamatti's face in the sketch. I was hoping to get on TV a little bit, they'd show a clip but let's face it, I'm fucking finished. So Giamatti got nominated for that, but Bradley Whitford won it for Transparent, and Joan Cusack won Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series for Shameless. Those are the only ones you really give a shit about, right? But Amy Schumer, nice going. Louis, they made a crack about Louis' show, which was funny at the beginning. They put the camera on him, he's laughing with everybody else, and then he makes like a real serious fucking look into the camera. And Christ, he's been there so many times. I mean, when he was writing for Chris Rock, before I was writing for Chris Rock, he had already won a couple. When we went to his house there on Thanksgiving, I think he had like 6 trophies. It's just, he's almost bored with the whole thing. Unbelievable. But overall, That's the beauty of DVRing all that shit, right? You can watch an 11-hour show in 9 hours, and that's what I did. And it is what it is. How about that comedian, folks, Steve Renazzazzi, whatever his name is? How about that? Him lying about being in the Trade Center the day it was bombed. That all came to light. Holy fucking moly, what a psychotic thing to do. Psychotic. He's on a show, The League. You know, it's about a fantasy league. He plays like the commissioner. Fantasy football, whatever the hell it is. But, you know, if you guys aren't familiar with Renazzazzi, he's telling everybody for years that he worked at Merrill Lynch on the 54th floor of the South Tower when the plane struck the North Tower. I was there, and then the first tower got hit, and we were like jostled all over the place. Right there, you should have been a little skeptical. Really? A building gets hit near your building and it jostled you? Get the fuck out of here with it. He said that in 2009. He fled to the streets just minutes before another plane slammed into his building. And then he decided that very day life was too precious to waste. And he wanted to tell dick jokes in front of drunk people. So he moved to L.A. with his girlfriend. That's what he said. He abandoned his New York desk job to pursue a career as an entertainer in L.A. I still have dreams of, like, you know, those falling dreams. But he was confronted by the New York Times this week with evidence that undermined his account. Mr. Renazzazzi, after a day of deliberation, acknowledged on Tuesday that his account was fiction. You fucking believe it? Just a big fat lie. I can't believe the balls. That's like psychotic behavior, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, he had been working in Midtown that day and not for Merrill Lynch, which has no record of his employment and had no offices in either tower. Jesus Christ, you might want to do a little research before you tell a lie that's going to ruin your life. So he said, I was not at the Trade Center on that day. He said in a statement provided by his publicist. I don't know why I said this. This was inexcusable. I am truly sorry. And he lost a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial because of it. At least they had some morals. Of course, Comedy Central had a big decision to make, because this came out last week, and his special was going to air Saturday night. And guess what, folks? Just like I told my wife. My wife's like, no, they'll never show it now. I go, are you nuts? You don't know TV, do you? The fact that they have all this heat on this kid, that's just publicity. There's no bad publicity, even when it's negative. And sure enough, in true showbiz fashion, Comedy Central just fucking came up with some excuse to play that special. Right? We are currently, this is before they aired the special, Comedy Central, so we're currently reevaluating our relationship with Steve, pending a review of all the facts. Yeah, this is how they probably reevaluated. They got in the room, they went, hey, you know how much heat is on this fucking thing? We're going to draw huge eyes. Anybody else there want to lie? Maybe we can get another comedian to say that he was in fucking WW2. Comedy Central expressed similar disappointment, said to it had not decided, but they ended up showing it. And then, of course, FX Network, whose FXX carries The League. That's a show he's been on for like 7 seasons. They said, well, Mr. Renazzazzi's deception has been upsetting and unfortunate. We're money-grubbing whores, so fuck it, we're going to show it anyways. It still would go forward with him as a character in the show's final season. We believe Steve is sincere in his apology and will do everything he can to make amends moving forward. I'm sure that would have been their take if it was like a competing show with theirs. Unbelievable. Just disrespectful that is to people who died that day and families who lost loved ones and all that I mean, that's fucking... When do you say... So when would you not show a guy special? Well, he raped a 6-year-old girl, but I mean, she was... Come on, you see how she was dressed on the swing set? That's all you need to know about TV, folks, and the people who run it. I guess Wild Wings. They said, fuck this kid. Probably because some guy that works at Fryer later lost his cousin in the second tower, and I don't know, but good for Wild Wings. This is Steve. For many years, more than anything, he said, I have wished that with silence I could somehow erase a story told by an immature young man, like as he's separating himself. That's what psychos do. Like after some psycho stabs his, 8 people in a school, and they go, it was my alter ego. That's not me. I don't even remember doing it. They always separate themselves. First sign of a true psycho. So it was an immature young man then, It's good timing, though, because Brian Williams is coming back to MSNBC tomorrow night. I was reading an article about it. So, this is the week, man. It's the week of the liar. I guess Brian Williams is causing all kinds of shit over there already. People are getting demoted and shit. He wasn't the only one. To be fair to Mr. Ranazizi, there was a few people that have lied about that since. There was a Spanish woman named Alicia Esteve Head, who went by the name of Tania Head. She joined the World Trade Center Survivors Network Support Group and went on to become its president, but her story of escape from the 78th floor of the South Tower was fabricated. She was believed to be in Barcelona on September 11th. So he's not alone, but some people do anything to get famous. Because he talked about it on Maron's podcast, too, He's, had a pretty good career. And trust me, folks, again, because the people that run this business, it's not going to affect them. It'll be forgotten in a week. But if he was like a staunch like guy like me who wore his Republican, right-leaning politics on his sleeve, he'd be fucking blackballed forever. He also noted in some interviews that his girlfriend also worked in the South Tower on September 11th on the 24th floor, but said she had been delayed and never made it to the building. And then in the article it says, actually, Mr. Ranazizi got that wrong as well. Mr. Ranazizi was scheduled to work as a temp on September 11th. I mean, Mrs. I'm talking about his wife now. Ranazizi, Mrs. Ranazizi was a temp. Scheduled to work on September 11th, but in the World Financial Center nearby, not in the South Tower. Yeah, we went up to the roof, we smoked a joint, then decided we were going to leave. Unbelievable, huh? He did finally come out with a statement saying, after somebody blew his cover, it was profoundly disrespectful to those who perished and those who lost loved ones. The stupidity and guilt I have felt for many years has not abated. It was an early taste of having a public persona, and I made a terrible mistake. All I can ask is for forgiveness. Well, you're working in the right town. I wouldn't worry about it. We don't have any values anymore. One cast member of the league, Katie Aselton, came to his defense on Wednesday. I love Steve, and my heart goes out to him and his family, she wrote, and my heart goes out to everyone he may have hurt. This sucks all around. Her heart goes out to him and his family. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I hope Steve's family is not too hurt. Spoken like a true actress and fucking Hollywood nitwit. Interesting, huh? Only Wild Wings stepped up. I want to see if there's any more fallout. Like I said, I say no, most likely. What would possess you? Can you imagine? What would you possess you? Fame, I guess. You are correct, sir. Oh, then we had this story about little, again, I haven't talked to you. This is a week old or so, but I haven't seen you. Talked to you since last Monday. A little friend, Ahmed Muhammad, the student who brought the homemade clock he made to a school. I think it was in Texas somewhere. And This one just fried my balls. If anybody... 14-year-old kid. He brought a beeping, strange-looking homemade concealed device. Turned out to be a clock. And, of course, you know, the cops overreacted and arrested him. But the dirty little secret is he wouldn't give the cops any information. Little Ahmed, you know, if he's a genius, like you say, he doesn't seem too bright to have a name Ahmed Muhammad and bring a clock to school that looks just like a bomb with wires hanging out of. I think he's fucking with our heads. Just like, remember a few years ago, there was like 5 Muslim guys that got on a plane in Minneapolis and they started chanting and switching seats and shit just to fuck with people on the plane. And of course, all the libs, oh my God, this is horrible. They singled him out because he's a Muslim, and that's stereotyping, and it would never happen to a white kid, and blah, 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 which is so far from the God. It's just the opposite, actually. A few examples. Dyer County, Tennessee, there was a woman named Kendra Turner, a girl. She was suspended for saying "bless you" after somebody sneezed, and that her teacher told her that she would have no godly speaking in class. The school administrator in that situation said it was not a religious issue at all, but more of an issue teacher felt was a distraction in her class. But they didn't mention. I guess students posted photos that showed "bless you" on a list of expressions banned in the classroom by the teacher. And then you had the little kid from Maryland. Remember the 7-year-old kid? He chewed his Pop-Tart into the shape of a pistol and pretended to shoot students with it. Nothing more dangerous than a fucking loaded pastry, loaded with nice fruit filling. Can you imagine? He was kicked out of school for chewing a Pop-Tart into a pastry. White kid. This kid's being invited to the White House, little Muhammad, naturally, because his life is ruined now. Somebody hurt his feelings for 30 fucking seconds. So jerk-off in chief is having him to the White House. And shithead who invented Facebook, Zuckerberg, is like, you can work for me anytime. You guys are mentally fucking ill. You're childish. Another example of a white... there's another example of a white kid. Again, they say this wouldn't happen if he was white. Alex Stone, a 16-year-old white kid from Somerville, South Carolina, wrote a short story in which he imagined using a gun to kill a dinosaur. For this, his locker was searched, and he was arrested, handcuffed, charged with disorderly conduct, and suspended from school for 3 days. So I guess it's only, prejudging and stereotyping and hurtful when it happens to a person of color like little Muhammad. The cops they overreacted a little bit, but that's because he didn't give them all the information once they started talking to him. You know, this kid knows what he's fucking doing. It'll be like me showing up, let's say in the 50s and 60s, if I was a kid, I'm really Italian looking, me showing up at the class with a zoot suit on and a violin case under my arm and a fedora. Oh, my God. You guys got to get over it, you fucking politically correct douches. You have to get over this. How is stereotyping or prejudging somebody? It's worse than pedophilia. They look at it worse than pedophilia. He's getting invited to the White House because somebody might have hurt his feelings for 5 fucking seconds. Unbelievable. Get the fuck over it. Most tolerant nation on the face of the earth. Unbelievable. You're so blind. You're so blinded by your hatred for this country. You can't perceive reality, and you fucking lost it. They're looking for an excuse since 9/11 to prove homophobia. And the opposite is just the truth. It couldn't be more welcome. We still welcome them here. Even though they're setting up shop and trying to get Muslim extremists, that is, not little Mohammeds. But I'm just saying, after 9/11, imagine if we knocked something over in Mecca, the U.S. And I know people are going, well, that's what we're doing. Our foreign policy, it's all about that. That's why terrorists are being created. We have been so, I think I just remember that one guy getting murdered. Some racist idiot like in Arizona shot an Indian Sikh because he had like a turban on, thinking it was right after 9/11. But there's been no such thing. Huh? How many? I want to know how many innocent Muslims have died, attacked because they were Muslim in this country since 9/11, which is 14 years ago. You can count them on one hand, not even probably. But this kid's getting a front seat at the White House. Obama, you are just a hateful, hateful fella. You hide it well with your beautiful smile, in my opinion. Invite those white kids and invite the parents of the girl who got shot in San Francisco by the illegal alien. No, you're not going to have Kate Stanley's? I bet you he is now after this story broke. Yeah, that one really got me. Did you see the fucking thing? It looked more like a bomb than a bomb. It had like 16,000 wires hanging out of it. Brings it in a suitcase. Yeah, good idea. Why don't you try to board a Delta flight after school with it? See how many people you can make look like an asshole. And if the cops didn't do anything, or the school authorities, and it went off, see, there are, there's cause and effect, folks. Jesus H. Have I hit it all? The Pope. Oh, as far as the Emmys goes, and this is always my favorite part of these awards, like in memoriams when they show the people who passed away. Why does that? I mean, it's just, I think it's always really well done, and I get my eyes well up. I see all these people dying that. Now it's this generation before me. It's like when I'm watching it, like I'm on deck. You're gonna, at a blink of an eye, I'm gonna be if I make it that far. But like all these people, people that I watched on TV, whether it's Leonard Nimoy in the 70s or, well, I didn't watch Star Trek on a regular basis, but I sure know who he was when he was on Tonight Show, but I didn't know. I don't think I knew that Mo Green died. Alex Rocco, originally from Boston, by the way. Did you know Mo Green died? The guy, Alex Rocco's the actor. Ironically, he was shot in the eye. We're getting a back rub at Jack LaLanne's health and fitness club. No. But yeah, I didn't know he passed away this past year. And Donna Douglas, Ellie Mae Clampett, remember the blonde Ellie Mae, the daughter, who I used to jerk off to? Well, she was in her cement pond. She died. That one made me really sad. Those are all the shows that I grew up with. Martin Milner. 1 Adam 12, the first cop show. Absolutely loved 1 Adam 12. It was him and Kent McCord. They drove around in a cop car, really cheesy. They had some really cheesy lines. But I wonder if you can get that on like Nickelodeon. I remember they were following, my favorite line from that show, they're following a drunk driver, and he was weaving all over the place, and Martin Milner looks at his partner, and he goes, "Give him a ball of yarn, he'll knit us both a sweater." That type of 1970s corny dialogue. But it was a cop show. It was great. 1 Adam 12. See the man? The corner of Fight the Power and Die Whitey Avenue. And, of course, Frank Gifford. That's what's creepy. Frank's gone. Dandy Don's gone. Howard's gone. All these guys. I mean, come on. I was watching them when I was a teen. My generation's on deck. Watch the NFL. And again, it backed up everything I said last week, why I prefer college football. I've never seen so many penalties. They must have set a record this week. I know the Buffalo Patriots game definitely set a record. They had 24 or 25 penalties, which at that point is over officiating. I don't give a shit what anybody says. When you're into the 20s, it's over officiating. But it's so sloppy. That's what I said last week, why I love college football. It's a lot cleaner game. And hey, NFL, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it. I've said it on every fucking podcast. You have to change the push in the back rule on punting and kickoff, on any kicking plays. You have to change the fucking rule. I'm going to say this again. I've said it before. The Howard Cosell brought this up in the 80s Over 60% of kicking. It's got to be up to 80% now. On kick plays, there's a penalty. On 68, Howard Cosell said this years ago. He made a great point. He was a smart guy, other than just a loudmouth. He said that means there's something fundamentally flawed in the rule. And it is. You got to change it. Is anybody fucking hearing me out there? Every punt yesterday. And it wasn't just the Pats game, which was so hard to watch. Both teams. Pats had like 14 penalties, 12, and Buffalo had like 16. I couldn't believe. But that's over officiating. And the announcers in the booth aren't going to say that because you can't shit on the officials. You have to be a corporate show for the NFL. But that's over officiating. Some of these fucking guys are trying to get their SAG card. That's Screen Actors Guild card. You get on camera enough, you get a SAG card. Just fucking embarrassing. But every punt, Seattle Seahawks, every channel, I have DirecTV so I can watch them all. I'm flipping around, and there's a push in the... There must have been 7 different games I was watching. I saw at least 2 pushes in the backs on punt plays in 3 or 4 of the games. You got to change the fucking rule. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? I mean, what? You got to change it. Okay? Allow 1 push in the back or something. You got to get rid of the rule because the teams, there's a certain protocol on how punt return teams set up like a picket fence, and they're not going to change that the way the teams return a punt, and it's incongruent to the rules. You got to address the rule. You know, it's been going on for, like I said, since the late 80s. 30-something years, you think somebody would go, why is there a flag on every fucking punt? On every kickoff? Change it! God almighty.
Fucking smash his fucking face in.
That's right, Goodell. Tommy boy, Brady, he's got a chip on his shoulder this year. It looks it, because he was throwing the ball like a young Tom Brady yesterday. I know it was Buffalo. That was supposed to be a big test. I fell for all the hype. I was in Boston this weekend, and I did a couple of radio shows, and these guys are like sports guys, and they even said this will be a test, and then I watched a few local guys on TV said yes, because Buffalo, kicked the Colts' ass, and they made all these moves in the offseason, blah, 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 80,000 fans, it's going to be a real test, and they do play the Pats tough, every once in a while. So I fell for that hype, and I took Buffalo. It was almost a pick'em. It was like a half-point difference in the stupid pool, but I fell for it, and the fucking Patriots went out and just embarrassed them. I mean, it wasn't as close as the score. The final score was like 40-30, whatever, 32. But it wasn't even that close. But Brady was throwing darts, 466 yards passing. He's out to stick it up somebody's wazoo. And the Gronk looked like the Gronk, and Edelman might be the best slot receiver. Edelman has turned into Wes Welker for the Patriots. Just a fucking tough little son of a gun who nobody can cover. And I like that they have a pass rush. I loved Vince Wilfork, but he was great against the run because he was like built like a Coke machine. And but now they have some athleticism, and they're really pressuring the quarterback, and they look really good. Again, who knows? It's so early in the season. The Bills could end up 14, but they were supposed to be good this year. And Rex Ryan after the game cracks me. Yes, Bill Belichick outcoached me, and but he like. Do we even have to say that? Does he mentions himself in the same breath as Belichick. It's fucking hilarious. But he goes, yes, we lost because I talked too much. I think he was being ironic. He is entertaining, but I'm sorry. Most overrated coach in the history of the game. Oh, and Frank Gifford. We lost him this year, too. Did I mention that? Yes, I did. That's about it. Oh, Alabama lost. I didn't really get into college, but Alabama lost for the second year in a row to Ole Miss. Okay? In Alabama, folks. Ole Miss put up 40-something points on them. It's the first time in the history, I think, of that rivalry that they got beat twice or whatever. It's something crazy. But, Alabama. If you follow college football, they are like the they set the standard. Him and them and Nick Saban, and Ole Miss beats them in Alabama Saturday night. I was listening to it on the radio on the way home. It might have been a replay. It was pretty late now that I think about it. Maybe it wasn't. But anyways, so that was fucking crazy. Crazy. But like I said, I enjoy the college game. Just a lot less flags, a lot more discipline, and whatever. Did I cover it all? 7 people fatally shot in New York. That's probably the outer boroughs, but within a 24-hour period. Yet De Blasio still preaching how safe it is, and yeah, good thing you get rid of that stop and frisk. What a douche. He is a one-termer if I've ever seen it. Oh my God, Uncle Junior, what's up?
Guy comes home with a bouquet of flowers for his wife. I guess I'll have to spread my legs now, she says. Why, he asks. Don't you have a vase?
I'll laugh at that till I'm 106. All right, kids. Good talking to you again. Bump, bump, bump. This weekend, come see me at Governor's, Friday and Saturday night. And by the way, you were asking me about, I did the Marin podcast a couple months ago. It's going to be, I think they're playing it this Thursday, the 24th. That's what they told me. And don't look for a left-right political discussion, because all we talked about, Mark was smart to keep me off that, I guess. All we talked about was comedy, stand-up, but it's very interesting because Marin was there when I started in Boston, and we did one of our first gigs together, a place called Captain Nick's, and talked all about the comedy scene, and he's a good interview. He really knows how to interview. And, I think you'll like it a lot. What the hell else? So Governor's this Friday and Saturday night in Levittown, Long Island. I'm doing a benefit Unite to Face Addiction in D.C. October 3rd. The Time Warner Theater, I think it's called. So if you're in the area, check that out. And then the Gramercy Theater, which is a beautiful theater, small theater in New York City, on October 17th. I'd love to see you there. Please come out to that one if you're in the area. You'd be doing me a big favor, because I like to play that one once a year. That, and I like to sell Coke to school children. Anyways, kids, this has been a ball. November 5, 6, and 7, Magoobies in Timonium, Maryland. And November 12, 13, and 14, Comedy Club of Jacksonville, Florida. 12, 13, and 14. That's a Thursday through Saturday of November. All righty. You guys are the best. And I guess I'll talk to you in a week or so. I don't know, depending on when you listen to this. I keep forgetting that's how it works. Oh, and in Hollywood, stop showing commercials. I forgot to mention this. I saw about, I'd say, 5 commercials while I was watching the games yesterday of women beating the shit out of men, whether it's in a movie or a TV show. A lot of female feminist anger out there. And I tweeted it, and I had some young, stupid guys who don't know that they're being mind-fucked by the media. It's not their fault. They're young and stupid. And political correctness, they were born with it. They don't even know when they're being played. But I mentioned, I go, a lot of angry, I said a lot of guys being knocked out in commercials, and one guy puts a tweet up of Homer Simpson, and it says he's holding a newspaper, and it says old man yells at cloud. He was implying that made me a young man for making an astute observation so he in his world, women can beat guys up just as easy as men can beat women up. He's swallowed this, I guess. A whole generation has. I don't know. Most of you have picked up on it and realized it's poop. But I was laughing at the tweets. I'm a dinosaur for pointing that out, apparently. All righty. Talk to you in a week or so.
I love you for helping me to construct of my life. Not a tavern, but
What the hell's going on out here?
I love you because you have done so much to make me happy. You have done it without a word, without a touch, without a sign.
I'm going to work out now. Ugh.
You have done it by just being yourself. Perhaps, after all, that is what love means. And that is why I love you.
And you blew it! You blew it!
Peace.